Okay, well, it is New Year's Eve in Tangambalanga, northeast Victoria, Australia, and it's a warm one, but not as warm as we've had here before. It's about 33 tops today, and I've got my air conditioner blowing over here across, so I'm in pretty much comfort. It's all I'm out in the American barn, and it's all insulated. So to be honest, I'm being a big girl. It's not that bad out here anyway. Okay, 2001. Do you know, a bit of history, one of my first jobs with Motorola, people think I came on as a technician, but I actually didn't. That's not true. I actually started in the National Parks Department with a chap by the name of Michael Martin, a tremendously good guy who absolutely trusted me. There were two people in Motorola, Richard Lee and Michael Martin, that trusted me to progress forward without embarrassing them too much, which was quite an effort at times, but on their behalf, not mine. I did a good job of embarrassing them at times, but they just kept on having confidence in me. Anyway, moral of the story is, I used to sell these things. We used to sell them to police comms all around the countryside. I know that SAPOL in South Australia bought quite a few. They were either buying these or the R2600s back in the day. And this is the 1990s, not the 1960s or anything, by the way, guys. I'm not that old. But these are 2001s. If you know me well, you know that I use one of these on my bench alongside a whole lot of other test equipment, but other analyzers, sorry, but absolutely love the Motorola 2001s. Always have, always will. This one's heading off to a very good mate of mine. I had a couple of different choices for him that I specifically thought should suit, and he wanted to do a bit of sideband, and so, to be honest, if you want to do sideband, the 2001 is a look. It was the choice of the police department, especially in SAPOL, for all their HF comms. They used the 2001s. There was nothing else. That's not true. Sorry, late in the piece there was a Schlumberger there. Actually, I remember now that I was very hurt. I felt like it's like your girlfriend cheated on you when they bought a Schlumberger, but they had bought a lot of Motorola from us, so fair enough. All right, so what we're doing is just doing a little quick run through, more for my mate Alan's benefit, just to give him a little bit of a run up. This one's been sitting here. This came out of Wee Waa, New South Wales, and I was going to keep it as a backup to my 2001. Since then, I've bought a couple of other newer bits of test equipment, which I still don't like not keeping a backup, but anyway, Alan's a good mate of mine, and I think this will serve him well. So I've just hooked up a bit of a sick FT901DM. It's not actually getting its total power out at the moment, so I sort of wanted to just put an old power meter on there as well, just to show that too, just the fact that if this radio reads a bit low, it does actually, it all agrees. Anyway, so let's just have a bit of a look. What am I on? Sideband. 1 2 1 2. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2. Now, because I've only got one hand here to hold this camera, 1 2. Hang on, can I make this happen? Hang on, I'll do this. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. I'm just trying to adjust the BFO, which is down here, by the way. So if I'm a little bit off frequency, it's because I can't do two things at once here. 1 2 3 4 5. As you can see, the power output on this is a bit low. Only about 20 odd watts, as we're seeing over here. About the same on the 200 watt scale, about 20 watts. And certainly, I might put a carrier. Let's go to FM. less hands needed to do that. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Now we're only getting about 5 watts FM. Now if we have a look at our meter over here, let's go to the 20 watt scale. Look at that, 5 watts. And so I've got to look at this 901 at some stage. This has been my go-to radio. Hang on. Just for out in the shed here, and I've been using it. And it's got left on for a few days. I hadn't been out here so much and hadn't realised, and I think it just got a little bit overheated. Anyway, it'll be an output tube that's giving me some trouble. It's a little bit down what it should be. I think from memory, on tune, we were getting about 40 watts on tune. Hang on, let's have a look at that. What's that saying? That's saying about 20 odd watts. What's that saying? it's saying about 20.7 watts here. So that's cool. It is down in power, this 901. Love the 901s. It will not leave here until it does full power. Got a few 901s coming up though, I must warn you all. We've got 6 or 7 that just, I don't know how, that and 101s and quite a few things that need to get out of. Anyway, alright, so that is pretty much the transmitter side of it, apart from the fact that I suppose I could show you that they do have quite a good spectrum analyzer on them. So when I put up an FM carrier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, what else can I show you? I suppose the receive, the generate would be a good idea. Let's go FM, we're on FM, let's get off spectrum analyzer. Very easy to run around these things. So basically the core situation of knowing where you are, generate and monitor. So this is where 90% of the time you're on the screen over here. Note, by the way, the brightness of the screen. Check this out. I mean, that's down right low there. Have a look at the brightness there. Huge brightness, and I'll bring it back to about there. Let's have a look at where that's at. Yep, look, that brightness on that screen is brilliant. You've obviously got to focus on the outside of it, so you can, you know, obviously get that to focus, etc., etc. Little mark in the screen here. This could be probably polished out. Not the screen, in the plastic cover, not in the screen. If you own a 2001 and you have a tube that goes, I do have one I'm keeping for myself. I'm not sure, Alan may end up buying one, but there'll be one spare that'll be left over. So I might bring that intensity up now after talking about it. That's better. About there. Still not bad actually. I do have one tube left over, I think, from memory. Anyway, they're all pulls, but they're all in good condition. So, and they're, as you can imagine, that's the one drawback of the 2001. This dies, that screen dies, you're blind. So I did warn Alan. I said, look, might pay to buy a tube. I'll have a chat to him about that. Anyway, okay, so let's put a FM signal in. Look at that. Now, you don't have to worry about your receive transmit. If you accidentally transmit, etc., it knows. It just switches out and it says, oh, you're transmitting. It doesn't like it to some extent because it gives you warning messages and that. But at the moment, let's have a look. Let me turn the volume down on this fella so we're not listening to that. We're listening to the radio. And on the stepped attenuator here, you'll see we can actually... Now we're looking at the microvolts and minus 90 dBm there. I'm a microvolts man. There's 0.6. Now we can adjust the attenuator here. So I can actually use the variable setting. I normally like to set this at 0.5 or thereabouts. That'll do. So then I go up to 1.62. So the idea being that this is not going to hear very well at minus 122, 123 dBm. That does not surprise me on 20 meters on a HF radio, but I'd be very surprised on a VHF, UHF radio if it didn't hear that. Don't get me wrong, all the new ones, my 7850, my 78, what else have I got? The 7610, the FTDX 101 I've got in there. All of those will receive down minus 123, no problems. Interesting, I was talking to Steve, VK3OT, about 6 meters though. Not to be taken for granted that what these radios do, some of these new radios do on HF, do they do the same thing on 6 meters? Alright, so basically, yes, we've got a scaled unit here. So as we put more signal in, we get more signal out over here. And we can actually see the stepped attenuator jumping through. Now I'm putting a fair bit in there. And as you can see, that's changing on the RF level, etc. there. So that's pretty standard in the way that they work. Now I'm going to try and squelch this. They have a squelch, don't they, somewhere? Jeez, yeah, they do. Here they go. There we go. All right, so we've just squelched that so that we can... And here's the thing, we could now check with our generate, we could check the squelch level. So we could say at 0.162, the squelch is working. 0.5 of a microvolt, it's breaking the squelch, which is about actually where you want it to be. That's quite around the around the mark. What else can I tell you about these? To be honest, it does get down to what you've got in other test equipment and what other bits and pieces you've got lying around. I tend to have lots of other external frequency counters, even the signalling sequencer. I've got the Motorola signalling sequencer that actually attaches these units. So I tend to use a lot of outboard bits and pieces. The fact that you can just very quickly head over to your modes here, you know, sideband, double sideband, etc. This is just so simple. It's very user friendly. You won't find that you're using a lot of this area here these days. Modulating, you know, PL tones and that. I mean, you might, but there are remote modules that actually go with these as well that make that job a hell of a lot easier. Obviously, that tone you were hearing just before, which we'll just bring up again, is the level of that tone. You'll see over here. So you can actually set your 1 kilohertz tone level as well, just as to how many millivolts that's sitting at. I'm just having a little bit of a look here. Oh, I suppose the other thing too that is of interest, let me take that off. We can check deviation 1, 2. So we can have a look at our deviation here and say, on FM, hello 1, 2, about 5 kilohertz deviation would be correct for this radio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And the error frequency at the moment, minus 2K. 200 hertz, sorry, what did I say then? No, it was about, 2 kilohertz there, which makes sense because I'm actually probably not actually even remotely close on this thing. Problem with the 901s is they had this calibrate, and we never, you know, I didn't actually calibrate that, I just sort of put it close by, but so I'm probably not completely on the frequency. Alright, you obviously can plug an antenna into the antenna port here. Obviously never put power in this spot here, very bad. If you can find one, I've only got one unfortunately, there is an accessory mic, very handy because I use it in the workshop where I will transmit through this unit at a designated level. So I'll set up my tone, I'll actually transmit and be able to talk through into a radio and hear my own voice and actually hear what's coming through at a known level. So it will actually generate a signal with your voice at that level, which is very handy. Turn that off again. You do have a general purpose oscilloscope that you'll never use because nobody does. I won't even go into that apart from to say that when you go down to oscilloscope here, we should see a trace. We do, and we should be able to set our trace. There we go. Now, ideally, yes, we can put a probe into there and have a look at the vertical, etc., etc. Nobody does. Oh, seriously. We've all got 400 crows lying around the place. But look, if you were on site and you needed a crow and you didn't have one with you, and you know this is the only box you had with you, yep, I can see the use of that. But yeah, you won't use that too much. All right. Well, apart from that, I'm probably running out of comments to make because they really are that simple. There's not a lot to do in using a 2001 apart from, you know, get used to what you need to as far as whatever you're servicing. This thing will obviously I like its abilities in HF, of course, but look, it's a very, you know, suitable for VHF, UHF work, of course. You know, it's no question that it can run, you know, right up to a gig, you know, 0 to a gig, so they're nice in that respect. People ask me about, you know, oh, shouldn't you be getting them calibrated? Look, no, to be honest, not for the sort of level of work that us amateurs are doing. If you were, you know, needing to write reports and things, and you weren't just a hobbyist like myself and Alan and, you know, whoever, yeah, maybe, but no, generally not. The other thing too is they have an inbuilt 10 meg reference, which Alan got all crazy about that and sort of said, hey, I didn't realise. And I said, oh, yeah, you probably don't use it that much. Anyway, but on the bottom of these things, they actually have a switch where you can switch between the internal or external 10 meg. So never used it, to be honest, so I'm going to be really clear on that. I'm just going to see if we can hook something up here. Hang on, 2 ticks. Okay, and I just thought I'd show you that obviously have an off-air monitor, so put an antenna in there, etc, etc. Now I've got to be careful, it's probably got music that YouTube's going to pick up, and it'll probably pick it up and say you're using copyrighted material, but you get the idea. So pretty much we're going in, this is the port that no transmitter, just antenna only please, and let's have a look. Spec an. I'm on a HF antenna, so I didn't expect our signals would be fantastic. That's quite low. Actually, lucky we're receiving those for FM. It's let's have a look here. So you can change. Oh no, where is it? No, that won't do it there. No, sorry, I'm about to lead you astray. No, that won't change. It's with. Think. It's been that long since I've played with one of these things. That's terrible. But anyway, hang on. Has it got off music yet? Oh, I'm on spec. Oh, sorry. You won't get any audio on Spectrum Analyzer. Good point. Hang on. I'm waiting for the song to finish so I can not have a song playing. But obviously you can see that we're in wide. You have bandwidth here for wide and narrow. Now, keep in mind you won't hear very much on narrow. It's probably 8 to 10 kilohertz there on the narrow, probably 120 kcs on the 100 kc, sorry, on the wide, and you can see the deviation there of that particular radio station. It's still playing a song. Maybe if I, oh well, okay, sorry, that's the other thing too. So let's say we were to just come off that frequency, the RF scan here, you can actually quickly jump around.
A great new year, which happens tomorrow, but not before Damien.
Whoops, nearly on the frequency. What's it? 104.1 it must be. But as you can see, no, actually not a bad off-air receiver for what they are, but But yeah, so if you're chasing a signal and you need to chase a signal, whether it be on like we're doing here, or if we're trying to chase something completely different, in theory I should be able to go to let's try something. Well, my in theory, I just wanted to have a listen, but no, we're not going to be able to hear anything on HF. It's just not going to be that sensitive a receiver. I was hoping someone might be around, but I was actually just switching antennas on the other one here and trying 14 megs before, and then I thought I'll come down to 7 megs, but no, it was worth a go. Okay, back to transmit. I gave up trying to see if I could hear anything on HF. It was a bit of a big ask. Even my later model ones don't do that well on HF. I think they're about 10 microvolts or something. It's anyway. Righto. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just back on sideband. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. Yeah, that's now actually it's pretty easy setup on sideband, I've got to say, for these things. But once again, it's not like you would trust, because of the fact that that BFO is so variable. You really can't. I would still be setting up by oscillators. I wouldn't be trusting the fact that it says 14.1 means nothing because of the side to side that you've got over here. But by the same token, with a decent frequency counter, generally go in. Normally on a 901 we set up all the oscillators, and actually, to be honest, it's the only way to do it. And you really will find that you've got a fantastic presentation of a radio once you've aligned it by the manual. Now, this little side note for Alan. Alan, very typical of these things. Just get used to the fact that the buttons, the more they get used, as you can see, as I'm going through here, actually make a lie of me here, that's actually not doing too bad. Okay, see the 4 there? Just use these buttons and use them and use them and use them. They all do this where they get a little bit clicky and a little bit annoying, and they also don't accept silly numbers. Let's have a look here. So go back there. So yeah, just that's one thing to get used to with the R2001s. They do tend to if they've been, this one's been sitting around for about 12 months. The more you use the buttons, the more they seem to go. We'll spray them with a little bit of deoxit just to help them just before it goes out. But just Alan, this is more of a side note for you. Generally, you won't find that these here give you too much trouble. It's always the keypad ones, because they were, they were so used over the years, so they do tend to get a little bit sort of finicky. But never to the point of not being able to use them. Just sometimes how you hold your mouth. For example, if I want to put in 147,000 for a repeater, that'll happen very nicely. Although the 7 was a little bit sort of like a double touch, to get that over. So, if I just go back here again, let's try 7 again. Yeah, well, 7 now, debounced. So 0. But yeah, you'll find just look, this will probably, I'll give them a bit of a hit before it comes over to you, but I think generally the more you use them, the more they seem to free up. The rest of all the other controls actually seem pretty noise free, which is good. I sort of thought we might have to spray a couple of them after sitting around for 12 months, but no, they've come up pretty well. Alright, so that's the R2001, and they're a lovely unit, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yeah. That's not going to work very well when I'm on 14 megs and 147. I was thinking there, what happened to my spectrum analyzer? But that's not. See the 1 there? Okay, so the 1. Hang on, let's give it a push. Oh, now I've knocked the focus out. That's better. Yeah, we'll give that. Yeah, with a solid push, it's no problems. So we're going to go 14, and then go back 1, and let's try that 1. Yep. And we should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just a sideband on the spectrum analyzer there. Don't mind that flashing, that's my camera doing that. But yeah, great little units. I think it'll serve you well, Mr. Allen. This certainly has been nice to actually just do a bit of a run through, just to have a bit of fun. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yep, I love it. Alright, that's probably our first real radio video for a while that's gone into any sort of depth. We'll try and get a few more out as things improve this side. Things are improving, so that's good. And I'll be getting a bit of help on board from a couple of Wodonga mates as well pretty soon to do a bit of a clean up. And we have got, actually, forget the analyzer for a second, this is our job in front of us. This has all got to go. We're going to get these out of the way, and as you can see, there's quite a bit to go. But yeah, look, it will get there. 2000s, 2000Ds, Kenwood 2000s. So we've got Yaesu 2000s, Kenwood 2000s. Anyway, yeah. But oh, there's my new supercharged Trackhawk. Very fitting that it's sitting next to a supercharged Mustang. I think that's, yeah, that's fitting. Anyway, not sure that makes any sense, but yeah. So we're going to get stuck into putting a lot of this into shelving with labels. That's the two Steves, my two mates from Wodonga, VK 2 Sugar Mike Whiskey, VK 3 Sugar Mike Whiskey, and VK 3 Not For Sale. They've come up with some ideas, and they were silly enough to volunteer some of these old things. But yeah, but a lot of this is going to sort of start heading out. We've got a lot of spare parts and bits here, which we've got way too many. You know, as you can see, nothing has changed apart from the fact that there's more. Anyway, all right, we'll get to that at some stage over the next month, and probably do a bit of a video of the cleanup, actually, because it's always fun to see how ridiculous a shed can get. You know, sort of, it really is. And this one's got there. All right, well, this has been fun just to have a bit of a look at the 2001. Oh, there's the Mrs.'s new Porsche rims that are going on. Got the rest of them all packed. Oh, somewhere over here. Oh, there we go. Yep, they all had to come from Sydney, and yep. And that's that thing covered in dirt up the top, that Porsche up the top. That's my wife's. I got her for her birthday, and it's fitting that a Christmas present would be wheels to go on it. Anyway, all right, one R2001, and great. If you get a chance to get one of these, this is my last one, so I doubt we'll see another one. They're very, well, not very rare, but they're becoming harder to find. I would sort of go that far to, at least, especially ones that are working, you know, at this level, have got good brightness on the monitors and etc. I've seen a few that have been terrible, but generally, funny enough, that's been in police departments where they've sat there for many years, you know. But anyway, all right, 73s, all the best. This video's gone a little bit longer than I, probably because I raved on too long, but Alan, if you've got this far, you've done very well. Cheers, 73s. Hope to get a few more things up very soon. Cheers all.